Welcome student again for the next lecture. The subject is data warehousing and data mining and the AKTU subject code is KOE093. So if you remember in the previous lectures we have discussed about the basics of data warehouse and what are the basic properties of data warehouse and how a data warehouse is different from a database, right? So in this lecture we'll be discussing about the data warehouse components and its architecture. What are the various components of a data warehouse and how they are interconnected to each other to get the desired result. So this is a multi-tiered architecture of a data warehouse. So as you can see, in this we have multiple components. So starting from the data sources, then we have data storage, then OLAP engine, and then we have some front-end tools. We'll go one by one. So first of all, as we all are aware that data warehouse is basically an integrated collection of historical data. So we have data from multiple heterogeneous sources, right? And we have already discussed, right? It may be that the data may be from the relational databases, it may be from the files, it may be uh, from the web, right? Or it may be entered manually also, and other sources may be there. So here you can see this is the first step, first component of a data warehouse, and that is data source. So here you can see like we have data from multiple sources, starting from there may be some operational databases or from other sources also like files and web. Now, then what we do as this data is from the multiple different sources, so it may have issues of having different structure, having different naming consistencies and so on. So what we need to do, we basically have to perform this ETL. Now what this ETL is, that E stands for extraction, T stands for transformation, and L stands for loading. So first of all we need to extract the data from the multiple sources, right? Then we as the data is data may be different, so we have to transform that data in a uniform structure, so that is data transformation. And at last we need to load the data to the data warehouse. So this is what we are doing here. We are doing the extraction, then transformation, and then loading, and obviously we will be performing refresh operation also. So we'll come to that, what exactly is refresh operation. Now, once the data has been loaded to data warehouse, so this is the data warehouse, and it is having all of the data, right? Now, it might be possible in a particular scenario we do not need the whole of the data, right? We might need a subset of the data that is available in the data warehouse as per our requirement, right? Now, let us suppose we want to do some kind of analysis over the customer. Obviously, in that case, we'll be looking at the data that is related to customer only. If we want to perform some sort of analysis on the data that is related to products, okay, there may be different subjects around which the data might have to be organized. So in this case, these data marts come into picture. So data mart is nothing but it is just a subset of the data warehouse that we are using for a specific group of user. Let's suppose a group of user actually wants to deal with the data which is related to customer. B group of user wants to deal with the data that is related to products. So in that case, these different data marts would be there and they will come into picture, right? So it is a kind of subset of the data warehouse. Then we have metadata. So metadata is basically it is a kind of information about what kind of data is stored in the data warehouse, what is its schema, how it is being stored, what is its historical perspective, right? So all the properties of the data which is stored in the data warehouse. So all those properties have to be maintained somewhere, and that is stored in this metadata repository in the form of metadata, right? And obviously, as the data gradually comes into the data warehouse, so this metadata has to be monitored, it has to be integrated and updated also. So that is the use of refresh operation, right? Time to time we have to update our metadata repository also along with the data warehouse. Now once we have this data warehouse, so we can perform the required required analytical operations. Okay. So all these operations, obviously they will be the part of data mining process, right? But for that we need to maintain the servers. So these are known as OLAP servers. So we have multiple type of OLAP server that we'll discuss in the future lectures. But these OLAP server will actually works on the top of the data warehouse to get the required results. So this is the next component, that is OLAP engine. This collectively we are calling it as. There may be OLAP server that are working on the data warehouse, and there may be OLAP server that are working on the data marts. So collectively we are calling it as OLAP engine. Right? We have multiple sources, then we have storage, and then OLAP engine, and finally we have some front end tools. So these front end tools will enable us to do the analysis, to to generate, to fire the queries, to have the reports in the desired format. So collectively, we are this whole process of gathering the knowledge from the data warehouse to do the analysis on the data warehouse. We are collectively calling it as a data mining process. Ultimately, after this data mining process, which is obviously working on the data warehouse, we'll have the required results that is also termed as knowledge, and this knowledge we can use in our for improving our business processes or doing various types of analytical operations. So this is the whole architecture of data warehouse, and these are the different components of it. Thank you.